when it does stop me. That little red light, can you see it?
Yes, on the
Okay.
screen.
All right. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to begin to set up our financial statements. And that would be easier if Excel were listed. There it is. All right, good. Okay, so generally, I use pre-made models that I've already made, but I realize you guys don't typically have those. So we're going to walk through this one step at a time. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make 4 sheets. 2, 3, 4. The first sheet is going to be, apparently, I have to right click, of course. It's going to be, I label it SOA, which is statement of assumptions or sheet of assumptions. Then the next sheet is going to be the income statement. Then the next sheet is the balance sheet. And the next sheet is the statement of cash flows. So now we have 4 sheets.
What was the second one?
The second one is the income statement.
Okay, yeah,
So then
I'm writing them out, so, because I
That's fine.
don't remember the acronym.
But statement of assumptions, income sheet, balance sheet, and statement of cash flows. So you have 4 individual sheets. And what we're going to try to do, to the best of our abilities, and we won't always be able to do this, but we're only going to enter actual data on the first sheet, which is the statement of assumptions. So if we have a loan, and the loan is for $45,000 and the interest rate is at 9% or whatever, we're going to try and list that information on the first sheet, so that all we have to do, if let's say we find out we don't have our credit as good as we thought it was, and we find out we're going to have to pay 12%, we just go in and we change that 9% to 12%, and then that and everything that it affects gets changed in the document all at the same time. Okay? So that's generally what we're trying to do. So we're going to set up, because it's super simple, we're going to set up a t-shirt company. T-shirts are us. All right? That's going to be the name of our business. And if we want to put the name of our business somewhere else on the sheet, we're going to refer back to that cell, so that if we change the name of the business, it gets changed all the way through, right? Okay, so let's start making some assumptions. First assumption we're going to make is that we're going to start out with some initial capital that we've raised. Okay? And we're going to assume that that's $50,000. Now I'm going to reformat this row of cells. You don't have to do this. And I'm going to make this row of cells be currency with 0 decimal places. And I'm going to switch to where it shows negatives in parentheses in red, just because I prefer that. All right. And again, if something changes, we change it on here. Okay, so to start a t-shirt company, we have money. What else do we need besides money?
Property?
Okay, so let's say a location. We're going to rent a building. Now in real estate, because they have to be cooler than everybody else, you rent by the square foot for the year. We're not going to bother with that. I'm sorry. Telling me telling me I can rent $1,000 space or 1,000 square foot space for $12, which is what they would tell me, would mean that it's $1,000 a month. That to me is hard to understand, and I've been doing this quite a while. So we're going to rent someplace, and we're going to pay $1,000 a month for it. It might be good to separate this stuff out into expenses and cash and various other things. There's a lot of ways we could do this, but for right now, we're just gonna get started, we're gonna put it together. If we move something, Excel should automatically follow us. I believe it does that. So like if I cut and paste initial capital to somewhere else on this sheet, it should change the references to it. And if it doesn't, well, I screwed up. All right, so we're gonna rent a building. We're gonna have to buy things.
Material.
Yeah, so let's put stuff we buy. And we're gonna buy shirts, we're gonna buy ink, we're gonna buy supplies.
So supplies here, does that include the machine that you like?
No. So, machine. What, you guys don't care, we'll buy a 4-stage silk screening, station, which is gonna run, you guys have computers. How much is a 4-color silk screening station?
You looking it up right now?
Why don't you find out how much we can get bulk t-shirts for?
You can get a 4-color screen printing press kit for $277 off eBay.
No,
You don't own one off eBay?
I don't want one off eBay, and I don't want one with the word kit in it. That's something you do in your kitchen. We're starting a business.
Looks like between 159 and 461, just as a ballpark from an initial search.
For t-shirts,
For, yeah, both.
$1 to
design-
$5.
Huh? Yeah.
So
somewhere
let's
there.
just say our
Probably
shirts are
depends
gonna be
on the grade of
$4 each.
material.
Our shirts are gonna be $4 each. Our ink is gonna be a very minor cost, but just so we can have a minor cost, we're gonna include it. And we're gonna say our ink costs us 10 cents, which is gonna show up as 0 on this form. But when we go to do 500 shirts, it'll show up as an actual price.
How's 4-color 1 station?
Okay?
That's $600.
Okay, so that's an inexpensive machine, but it's a good one. 1 station means that instead of having, the really nice ones have like 4 pedals like this, and then you have the shirts and it goes plop, twist around, plop, twist around, plop, twist around, plop, and then you take the t-shirts off. And there's others that are even nicer than that. You said that was how much?
That one is $600.
600. All right. So now what we've done is we've entered into the spreadsheet how much money we have, how much our rent's going to be, how much a single shirt costs us, how much the ink for a single shirt costs us, and how much the machine is going to cost us. Some of those costs are fixed, some of them are variable, some of them vary with the amount we sell, and some don't. Yes?
What do the supplies cost?
The supplies, we still have to figure that out. So, what are supplies if they're not ink?
I would assume various materials, like you're gonna need printer paper and stuff like that.
Packaging.
You might need printer paper, you might need packaging. You're certainly going to need the screens that you screen onto, and you're going to need things like WD-40 and stuff like that. I have no earthly idea what that costs. I know the screens I can buy for $8 to $40 depending on the quality, but I know they're going to last a long, long time, huh?
WD-40 is $4.
Yeah, and how often am I going to need it?
No.
So I'm going to guess on a per t-shirt basis that's also 10 cents because I feel like that's going to be high.
Yeah.
So we'll call supplies 0.1. All right, so we now have, we have the initial money we're going to have. We have how much our building rent's going to be. We have stuff we're going to buy, both single and ongoing. Yes?
How much was the shirts?
Shirts, we just said $4. They were from $1.50.
Sorry, the ink.
Oh, the ink?
It changed to 0 cents.
Yeah, it changes to 0 is 10 cents. We just had ink and supplies are about 10 cents each. And I put those in there primarily because they're teeny tiny. And you can see that even though they're teeny tiny, they will carry over and enter into the things. So we've got that. Okay, so where else are we going to have to spend money? So it's a small shop. We're renting the space. For sake of making this easy, let's just assume all utilities are included, so we don't have to complicate by that. Do we need a vehicle for this particular business?
Potentially, but not.
Not necessary, but if we
likely.
bought one, we could go out and do shows and do other stuff that was complicated, but we're gonna try to make a simple model.
But is it going to be just like a basic t-shirt store where you could use your own vehicle and you just expense
Yeah.
gas?
Yeah, we could totally do that.
We need some furniture.
Okay, so, there's a word for that.
Capital.
Well, there's furniture, there's a word, but the furniture is also a word. I'm not saying it's not. There's a word for the furniture that you put in a store,
Oh.
but I don't know what it is. That's okay, it doesn't matter. Basically, it's, we need the interior, all the stuff in the interior of the store. So, store guys. And let's say it's gonna cost us $1,500 to outfit the store. And let's say we're going to have one employee so we can go home sometimes. And the employee is going to cost us some amount of money. And what we put here could be really confusing. So let's just do it as an hourly wage right now. And we're in Mobile, so $9 an hour is probably good. So we're gonna put $15 an hour because we have to count into paying our employees. We have to count not just the money we give them, but we have to count our part of their taxes, our part of their Medicaid, Medicare, self-employment tax and all of that. We're just gonna bundle all that into the employee hourly rate of $15. So they're gonna get somewhere between $9 and $11. And the rest of it will go to various government agencies. Okay, so that's, that looks to me like a pretty comprehensive list of all of the money we're gonna spend. We will have forgotten stuff, and when we do, we just go back and add it. But let's look at money we're going to make. So we're gonna sell shirts. Doesn't want us to sell anything. Retail shirt cost, let's call it $20. We're gonna have a retail store. We're gonna sell t-shirts that we make. Are we gonna sell anything else? What, you've been in t-shirt stores.
Honestly, they usually make like stickers and stuff too with the screeners.
Okay, so
Or
let's,
they'll screen other materials because you can use the screener to make like a laptop bag or whatever you want.
okay, well, let's assume we're gonna sell stickers.
So are we offering like screen printing for people who like bring their own stuff in?
And
Like
custom
work.
Yeah.
screen printing. That does not look right.
No, there's only one eye. I'm sorry, there are only two eyes.
Just like most of my family, only 2 eyes. All right. So if we're gonna custom screen somebody else's shirt that they bring in, our costs are actually virtually zero on that, so that's gonna be a huge profit center for us. So how much do we wanna charge to do that?
I would say that one varies. It depends on what the material is or what like they want screened.
$20.
That's the same price we're selling the shirt for. I don't think we can get away with that. I think we can definitely do 10 to 15. Let's call it $12, just for fun. We just need a number right now. When we find out we can't get that for it, or when we find out it can bring in more, then we do more, right? Okay, so, I think we can move on and begin with the income statement now. So let's go to that screen, which is just blank because I just made it. And let's pull up an existing income statement. And let's see where various things go. Okay, so we're going to label this here, let's say, sales. And let's do, first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this, we're just going to put equal. We're going to statement of accounts, or go back to the statement of assumptions and click on the shirts and hit return. So now it says t-shirts are us there, right? That's the simplest of the simple things we do. We just named that sheet without typing anything. It says t-shirts are us, but what it actually says in the formula is equal statements of accounts space A1. All you do to get that to happen is that you hit equal, you type in equal, and then you go to the other square you want it to equal. You can link any two squares in any workbook that way. Is you just say equal, and then you click on another square. Then you click on that other square, it ties them together in such a way that if you change the first one, the second one changes. All right? So we have sales. Well, I said we don't want to put a number in sales. And we really don't want to put any numbers at all in here. So we go back to our statement of accounts. And when we say sales, what we mean is selling shirts, stickers, and custom screen printing, right? That's what we mean. So let's go ahead and break it down on the income statement. So we're going to say sales, shirts. In the next line, sales, stickers. And in the next line, sales, custom. All right. And if we just put a number in here, we've defeated the whole purpose of this. So let's assume on our first month in business, we're going to sell some amount of shirts. So let's just put a label. I'm going to put a label out here and say sales numbers. Now this gets messy. As you build this sheet, this front sheet, it gets messy. Did something go wrong?
It's not letting me do the circular reference.
Well, you can't do a circular reference.
Well, it's not letting me do the reference point back to the name.
That's weird. Let me look at it.
It got hung up on it.
Okay. Well, let's make sure it works. So go to the statement of assumptions and click on that. Okay, that says t-shirts are us. Now go to the income statement. And what do you have in there? Nothing, just hit equal. Now go back to the other sheet. Click on that one and hit enter.
Oh. Okay, I was trying to reference back. Never mind.
Okay, all right. All right, so sales numbers. Our first month in business, we think we're going to sell how many shirts? Oh, we don't even have sales on here yet, do we? Sales $20 there. That's the one I actually want, sales numbers. So how many shirts do we think we're going to sell the first month?
Probably less than future months unless you do like a grand opening that is.
Well, we'll assume that we're going to grow over time. Let's assume we're going to sell 100. And let's assume we're going to sell 250 stickers. And let's assume that the first month we're going to sell no special orders. And that's gonna get tricky for us later on when we try to systematically grow our business from a mathematical model. So right now, we can say we can grow at 4%,